Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Goodness, that was England's Bleeding by Robinson.
Wow. Nick Robinson,
I don't think
political commentator.
I hope it was him. I love Nick Robinson with his... I tell you what I like about... this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth, by the way, in case you're trying to find Simon Mayo on your dial. I wouldn't want to find him on mine. Yeah, Nick Robinson is the BBC political guy. Who is, what I like about Nick Robinson is he's gone bald the way bald people should go bald.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if people start to go bald, they think, oh, I can nip this in the bud. They shave the rest of their head, thinking that no one will notice.
They Vin Diesel it.
Yeah, whereas Nick Robinson, he's gone bald like people used to go bald when I was a child. He's just got that bit of hair around the ears, around the back, and that's what I'd always do. And he wears glasses. He looks like Philip Larkin, the poet. And I imagine him at home, eating white bread sandwiches and stuff like that. Nick Robinson, he's got a lovely 1950s English squalor about him.
He has.
Anyway, that's the Nick Robinson section out the way. We've been working on that now for 2 weeks? And I think it went quite well. I mean, I don't want to do a debriefing here on... there'll be notes. Gareth, I thought...
Well, I didn't say anything.
No, I know.
No,
well, that was what we agreed. So that was... that was good, but I'm happy with that. That's the
My role was
election
inspiration, I like to think, as it so often is. Anyway.
Hold on a minute.
Saturday morning!
Do you feel better now?
Yes.
See, now you've contributed in quite a big way. And
That was a recording, I should add.
Yeah. I want to... I've got a new jingle.
You haven't?
I have. I haven't actually tried it out yet. I just said to Emma, the producer, can you get me... I said, can you get me what I regard as one of the most uplifting pieces that we can do that in the edit. One of the most uplifting pieces of music I've ever heard. And what it is, it's the trombone intro to Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines.
Oh, I love that film.
There's something about... if you could play the trombone, if you've got that kind of... lubricity. If you've got the slide going like that. I can't speak yet, but I'm working my way into it.
Can we hear this trombone? Can I hear your trombone?
Here we go. I love it. For us, there are people here who think that an enormous wasp is trapped in the hallway.
I can see Louis Spence doing a few leg kicks to that.
Yes.
He's enjoyed that.
Louis Spence, part dolphin. Louis Spence. He can actually communicate, apparently, with the porpoises. Not many people know that. If you want to give us a text this morning, we wish you would, otherwise we'll feel desolate.
Yeah.
And we're on 8 12 15. That's
We
8 12 15. I think I said. So that's the election. Is there anything to say about the election that hasn't been said?
Well, yes, there is. How awful do all these people look? Gordon Brown. I mean, they look awful.
They haven't slept for about 3 days, any of them.
Yeah, so guess what? If you haven't slept, don't tong your hair and blow dry it in order to make you look... That's not going to fool us, because your face looks more haggard. Yeah, they've had too much blow drying. He looks like Subo, Gordon Brown. He looks awful.
Well, I don't think looking like Subo I'd normally equate with looking awful. I don't know what you mean by that.
You liar! Liar!
No, but I love the idea that when their big moment, they haven't slept for 3 days. They do look... Even Nick Clegg, who's like sort of boyish, looks terrible, pink-eyed. And Gordon, who started off looking like someone who hasn't slept for a week, has now, topped that up to a level where he looks like a cadaver. He looks like someone has opened a drawer at a morgue and said... What do you think?
Yeah. Also, you shouldn't make decisions when you feel like that.
Well, when you look like that.
If you're really tired,
you shouldn't make decisions if you're ugly. Is that your general point of view?
Pretty much.
I'd agree with that. Well, Lemby Opik, he lost his seat.
Oh, that's
He'll be laughing on the other side of his face. I know, actually he won't. He'll still be laughing on that.
Do you think he'll do well with the sort of lap dancer?
I think he's got a head like a banana, is what I think, if you want to know what I think. If you want my political analysis. Well, Gabriella Cheeky was there to support
Is that her actual surname?
Well, that's what they call her. It's Imreria or something.
Oh, very good, Frank.
Yeah. But yeah, Gabriella Cheeky said when he lost his seat that it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. That's what she said. She's trying to tear down the whole democratic process.
What is she referring to? Just him being voted out, or just the whole thing?
I think probably their physical relationship. I think she's finally come round to what most of us thought about that. Yes, I like the fact that his former fiancée turned up. Richard Herring is our guest today. That's going to put me in a tricky
That's got nothing to do with the cheeky girls.
No, I just got a bit of paper. If you put a bit of paper in front of me, I'll basically read it.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm just going to...
Yeah, try it. Gareth has to write now. This could take hours.
This could take some time.
Yeah. Richard Herring is Dog Man.
Wow, it works.
Yeah. Why did you
Brilliant.
write Dog Man? Is that some comment about Richard Herring? Is that what you're saying?
No, just to see if you'd say it.
Okay. Well, I did say it. Good job it wasn't any ruder than that. Now, Richard is plugging his new book, and which, according to the front cover, is really, really funny.
Oh, yes, it says really, really funny Frank Skinner.
Yeah.
So, have you read that book?
Music, I think.
Absolute Radio.
Gordon Brown, he must feel. I tell you something. The next, if David Cameron is going to go, because I don't really understand what's happening. I missed the election. I was
How did you miss
in Norwich.
Don't they vote there?
I don't think they vote there. There was a bloke with a hand cart shouting, "Bring out your dead." So I missed it. I didn't watch any of the coverage. A really weird thing that happened. But Gordon Brown, if David Cameron is next,
Yeah.
if I was Gordon Brown now and I'm in number 10 Downing Street, I mean, you're not going to be cleaning the cooker. Do you know what I mean?
No,
if you
you're
drop
so
anything on the
not.
floor, oh look, the baby's dropped a pizza on the floor. Yeah, so what?
Baby's dropped a pizza. It's not Birmingham.
He's Scottish, isn't he? The baby's dropped a bottle of sherry.
What I would do is I would swap, the button that they've got to press for all the nuclear weapons?
Yeah.
I would swap that with the light switch. So when David Cameron comes in, that's the first thing he does is press the nuclear button.
And
I like
that'd be
your-
good, would it?
See him deal with that.
Yeah.
I like your view of how things work. There's one big red button.
Yeah, where is it aimed as well, that thing? It's all right just pressing the button, but, you could take out China.
Did you vote, though, Frank?
I did a postal vote, because I knew I
Did
wouldn't be
you?
around,
Oh.
which is not as exciting. You don't get to go into a local primary
It's very
school.
organised of you, though. Well done. Very
There's
responsible.
no smell of urine. You don't get the little black crayon, which I've never understood that. The black crayon is...
black crayon?
You know the little black... When you vote, you think you'd get a biro nowadays. So you get like little black crayon. Nick Robinson, when he goes in, it is the 1950s. He's got the bald hair, and he's got the little black crayon. Yeah. I think he might have been... was he part of the 10 Rillington Place story? He looks like, he could have been,
look like that.
He could have been a serial killer in the 50s. I can imagine the slight smell of gas about him and a suspicious matchbox.
I like it when you talk the next day about how you voted, and then the people say, "Oh, I'd rather not discuss it." And you think, "Yeah, because you're basically ashamed because you voted Conservative."
Can I point out to our listeners, we don't care what you voted as long as you're happy.
As long as you
about it.
voted.
Yeah, as long as you... Well, I don't care if you didn't vote, to be honest. What difference does it make?
Wow.
When I got it,
There you go, listeners.
Yeah.
when I got into the booth, I suddenly realised I wasn't 100% sure what to do. I was faced with the
Oh,
thing,
God.
and then thought, oh,
Why doesn't that
Wait.
surprise me?
Oh.
Were you looking for the toilet roll? Oh, did you vote in the end, or did you just
I made
stand?
my mark.
Oh, dear, well, that's good on you. Oh.
I did vote, but I did tactical voting, and now I regret it.
Oh, just go by what address they have, because they have their little address where they live, and I go by how nice the road is.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So you did vote Conservative?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Oh.
Is that so you can go for a last-minute chat if you're not sure?
I think you should be. Who would put their address in a booth with a black pencil in it?
With me in it, particularly if they're
Yeah.
male and in the North London area.
They must get people just turning up. I remember when I was a youth, I just started work. There was the electric the electric workers were on strike.
Oh, yeah.
And when they went on strike, there was we had to have days off work because there was no power at all. And Labour, in order to get people to vote Labour, they had a slogan that said, "Vote for Ted, have 3 days in bed," because you wouldn't be able to work. I remember seeing that and thinking, "Oh, really? He sounds good. I like the sound of Ted.
You used to have about 7 days in bed, though, didn't you?
That's the glory day. Anyway, that's enough about the stupid election. All this build up to an election, and then there is it's like, it reminds me of when West Brom got promoted once, and I knew they'd got promoted because I was just parking outside the chip shop by the ground, and they announced that Sheffield United had, I think, drawn with Blackpool, and that meant that we'd got promotion. It was, there was no streamers, no big exciting end of game. That was it, and that's what this is like.
Absolute Radio.
It's Human by Killers. Are we human or are we dancers?
Is that song about Louis Spence?
Wow.
He's a guest in a few weeks' time.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
I'm so excited.
We don't normally plug the guests. I often forget to plug them on the show, but this is about 3 weeks' time. We've absolutely got the red carpet out, haven't we? For
welcome to Pineapple. That's
I thought he'd turn up early for a second there.
I thought Yoda was here.
Okay. But I hope you just meant the voice and not the appearance.
Well, exactly. We had an email in this week.
Did we?
Yes, we did. It was about you, Frank. And it was about...
Well, I mean, I would hope so.
It's you. Whilst avoiding the electoral coverage this week, I found an old episode of Room 101, which featured Frank. He tried to commit the following to Room 101. Action Man. Jokes which go down the toilet.
Yeah.
Meat tubes in school dinners. Oh, I remember that. I loved it.
Meat tubes?
Yeah. We'll get to tubes.
You get veins and stuff still, so you can actually... I said sometimes you got like a meat harmonica at the school dinner. There's so many tubes and arteries in it. Oh, no.
The film Sophie's Choice.
Oh, yes, that was... Yes.
And Shakespeare.
It was actually jokes in Shakespeare, which I've felt. Yeah, that was. Oh man, I think that was 1947. They still had rationing anyway. 47, just before apartheid came in. I remember because I tried to put apartheid into Room 101, and I couldn't have it because it hadn't yet formally been come into power.
Well, that was from James, and he says, "Would Frank change any of his choices, and what would Emily and Gareth try to commit to oblivion?" So, would you change any of your choices?
Well, probably, because, one evolves. I think you'll agree. Or if you're Louis Spence, you revolve. It's similar. I tell you, I'd probably put in... one thing that gets on my nerves a lot, and I think is an utter waste of time, is post-match interviews in football.
Oh, okay.
I've probably watched about 80,000 post-match interviews, and I can think of 3 in which anything significant was said. And it's the only one that's ever been anywhere. It's nothing to do with football. Ronnie Woolworth was a footballer who played for the Albion.
Yeah.
For West Bromwich Albion, and he'd been out at the game for a while because he was in a nightclub and he was with this woman, and her ex-boyfriend turned up and stabbed Ronnie 8 times. And they asked him, they said, well, God, what was that like? And he said, well, obviously I was a bit disappointed. That's what he said. Which is the most football thing. But usually they say nothing. Why bother with them? Why have players standing... It's just saying to the sponsors behind them, that's all.
And they're always holding a wash bag and a kind of, 2-iron shirt as well.
I always think these, they're paid to be sportsmen, to do physical things. Why get them to speak? We don't want to hear these people speak.
No, and when they wear baseball caps sometimes and speak, sometimes they'll have headphones on and stuff. I mean, who do they think they are, these people?
Do you know what I hate?
Jazz, obviously, I'd put in.
I've got some... Oh, jazz. Oh, yeah.
I think jazz should be... When you get your list of what to put in 101, that should be in ink. That should be already printed in.
I hate those women going... Oh, I can't bear
Yeah, those solos. And you think, I'm going to be whistling that all night when I leave this club. Why does that exist, Jazz?
Oh, it's awful.
Just so people with small beards can listen to this bit when it goes...
It's for the Lib Dems.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I hate. Cats in photographs. Like, any photographs
Never go
of
on
cats.
MySpace, can I say? That is my advice.
I just don't like. I just think they're not very photogenic, and they also look really ugly, and their eyes are like big saucers, and they also.
I don't
really
like when you
nervy.
get that. You know, when you take sometimes you get a photo and you got red eyes on. You know, that red eye.
Yeah.
But I used when we had Shep, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He was in
Yeah.
every photo our family ever took. His eyes used to go blue, bright blue. I mean, like absolute sky blue eyes. So there'd be me with the red eye. I always get the red eye because apparently I have a flat retina. And if you knew that. I'm not ashamed to say that on the radio. And
That's very brave.
yeah, it was a bit like when Matthew Parris outed Peter Mandelson there for the flat retina scandal, flat retina gate, and yeah, I dogs they shine blue as if there's something mystical and sky-like in them.
Yeah.
Wow.
You ever
What
wondered
do
that
you
about
hate,
dogs?
Gareth?
I hate lateness.
You can't put lateness in
No,
room 101,
that's
can you? It's
reasonable.
a vague concept.
You can put what you want.
It's like
People-
putting
I hate-
apprehension in room
that
101.
too. Well, I'm very apprehensive about being late. I don't like being late.
Guile, I'm going to put in.
Guile?
Guile, yeah. And steadfastness.
Steadfastness is good.
Yeah, but I've gone off. It's too many syllables. I'd rather someone was a bit flaky.
Oh my God! Someone's put sugar in my tea. Sorry.
I'm terribly sorry about this. It's a council house moment for Emily Dean, which doesn't happen that often. I think you should have put sterilised milk in it. You should have probably had a heart seizure. Have you ever drunk sterilised milk? It used to come
What
in a
is
glass.
it?
It's a bit like the early forerunner of UHT.
Oh.
It used to last a long time. You know, they say you can leave normal milk in the fridge for like 5 or 6 days.
Right.
You could leave sterilised milk in your will. It lasted so long. And it just tasted like white water.
Oh.
I used to raft on it on a regular basis. Anyway, if you want to text us, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just be like this for the whole show. And I'll tell you what I'd like to know. I'd like to know what our listeners would put in room 101.
Oh, yeah,
where they
that's
are.
good, yeah.
And the more unusual and odd, but things that really wind you up.
Saturday morning!
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth.
And the entrance for room 101 are flooding in.
Entrance. What?
Entrance, rah, 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 rah.
Yes, okay.
The jelly off a pork pie.
In room 101?
Yeah. I'm well on board with that. I hate that.
I think there are things that could be removed from a pork pie. I agree with you. I don't like the whole. I like pork pies generally, but it's the outer. The outer on the bottom of the pork pie. There's always a slippery, greasy.
A bit Subo shoe.
Sometimes you can barely.
Isn't it though?
Subo shoe.
Subo shoe.
Do you think that's why a
Yeah.
shoe is like one on the inside or the outside?
Well, both really.
You mean like a shoe that she would wear?
Yeah.
Not a pastry she would make.
I imagine that she is in many ways like a pork pie.
Frank.
Yeah, I think she's.
Smell?
No, I think she's inside. She's got a solid
Meaty.
goodness about her. But
Layer
I
of
imagine
jelly.
a certain lardy sort of slime.
Crusty exterior.
Slime, yeah. But
You say?
I mean, much loved. I imagine I can imagine her with the trellis top. You know, sometimes you get a trellis top on a pork pie, so you can see the meat through it. I'd like to see her.
Could do with some ketchup. To kind of make it
No, I
more
don't. I
palatable.
won't
Can we
tolerate
stop
ketchup.
talking about pork pies?
But so anyway, so that's the
It's
first.
so on me.
Who was that from? Sorry.
This is from 283, last 3 digits, no name.
You always read out last
I
three
like-
digits.
I like last 3 digits.
Yeah, what I like about it is the fact that someone had sent that in anonymously. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
keen on the jelly on a pork pie, but I don't want any trouble, if you know what I'm saying. I don't want anyone, I don't want dog mess through the letterbox.
Big Stew in Bristol, I'd put N-dubs in room 101, but only after they've been soundly beaten.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I don't know about the last bit, Gareth.
Well, I've not read that out.
No.
That's a bit...
Who's the main-
He sounded like a really nice, funny man until the last bit, and then
Who's
he
the
went
main
on.
guy in N-Dubs?
Dappy?
Yeah, the one who looks like he could be like
Dappy?
he could be a good villain in Wind of the Willows.
Yeah.
He could be a good plug in the
It's like a
Beano,
right
is what he
scam.
could be.
Yeah,
I
he's-
like N-dubs.
Yeah. Okay.
Their songs have a poignancy that moves me.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
Good
they
on
sing-
you.
Mm.
I have no particular feelings about them either way, and the main reason I say that is I don't want them to wait for me outside my house and smash me up.
They look the type.
Yeah, I think a lot of their good reviews and success generally has been fear based. But that's all right. We've all got to make it work somehow.
Now, Frank,
Young
we've had
people,
another.
trying to get on well in life.
We've had another text in. This is from Carl Martin.
I thought you were going to say Karl Marx.
No. Workers
Because
of the world unite.
Yeah, exactly.
Now's the time while there's no parliament. No parliament.
Carl Martin says he listens to the podcast regularly, and he says, I do hope I get to hear the fall today after all the comments on your podcasts. I can't wait to see what all the fuss is about. Have a great show. He's a Fall fan.
Well,
he's not yet.
We went to see the Fall last night. We had a works outing to see the Fall.
We did.
Often people go to places like Weymouth for a works outing, but no. We went to Shepherd's Bush in the west part of London to see the Fall. And we'll talk about it after this.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Hello, sorry, if I sound a bit muffled, I'm wearing a badger mask. Sorry, I'm wearing a badger mask. I better take it off. You can't. I don't know if you can broadcast in a badger mask.
Why did you have the badger mask on?
Well, because it was here. It's like, mountaineering in many ways. If there's a badger mask, you've got to put it on. Something brilliant about a mask, do you think? If you see yourself in a mask, I'm always really impressed, like something brilliant has happened. I put the mask on, but there's part of me that doesn't trust the mask. I think when I look in the mirror, it'll still be me, and then I look in the mirror, there's a badger. Just with a bit of elastic and some, and some moulded plastic, and that's great.
We've had some texts in, Frank, on 81215.
Well, that's tremendous news. Let me just get settled into my dray that I live in.
It's stuff that people
Is
would
it a dray or a set that a badger lives in?
Oh, it's a set.
Is it a set? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is drays then?
I don't know. I'll have to ring Toad of Toad Hall. I don't know.
That's a hip-hop producer. You don't want a badger living in one of them.
Yo, I'm going back to live in my dray. Oh, that's why they call you Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
I see.
You're a badger. I know you're not a badger. What lives in the dray,
We'll
then?
find out.
Fox?
You can't say that on the radio.
You can, I think.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry.
Dr. Fox. He lives there.
You can't say Dr. Fox on this station.
He'll be at the Sonys this year, I reckon. More of which later.
He'll definitely be at the Sonys, yeah.
So, we've had...
and I shall say to him, can I just have a Diet Coke, please? And, anyway, carry on.
Damon from London... Oh, it's a nice area, Damon. Says, Dear Frank... Room 101,
yes.
I would like to put people in there in supermarkets who stand behind you and study your shopping on the conveyor belt.
Yes.
Oh, I so agree with that.
I agree. Well, imagine how it is for dare I say the word celebrity, because I feel it's like an anecdote in a basket. I know people are thinking, oh, diet lard or whatever it is I bought that day. You can see them mentally noting what I bought. I daren't buy anything of a personal nature.
Die Hard. that would be a good thing for Diet Lard. Die Hard.
Yeah.
You should
write that down. I mean, as opposed to saying it out loud.
You should have a separate VIP aisle, I think, for a celebrity.
Yeah, there should be a celebrity checkout.
With a sort of big... Yeah, but I think you should. And you should be sort of all cloaked. It should be sectioned off in black, so no one can see.
Cloaked and masked.
Yeah.
But imagine if I had, par exemple, I had...
Why have you gone all Francais?
Let's say... Well, I'm about to say hemorrhoids, and I'm going to pass it off as a French word.
Oh,
if I had hemorrhoids, I wouldn't be able to go and buy a soothing cream in a supermarket because it'd be all over Twitter. It would the way I apply it. It'd be all over my Twitter.
I like that joke, Badger.
Yeah. I'm not wearing the mask anymore. Okay. Don't call me Badger when I'm not wearing the mask. That's how bank robbers get caught. In case anyone was wondering how that happened. Anyway, we went to see the Fall last night.
Wait, I've got an email that will take us into it really nicely.
We're in it.
Okay.
Now go on.
Hi guys. I was the crazy girl who saw you outside the Fall gig last night.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for posing for the picture, Frank. May I add, Emily's beautiful, and it's no wonder they want the webcam on her.
Oh, I love
It's the last bit in biro.
Oh my God.
And Emily's handwriting, by any chance.
I can remember this woman. You said, "Oh look, this is Emily and Gareth," and she looked at me and went, "Oh."
She did not. She was absolutely lovely.
She was very nice. She said she listened to the show.
Oh, I loved her. Thank you, Dina. It was lovely to meet you.
I mean, someone who likes this show and The Four, it don't get any better than that, does it? That could have been my dream girl, were I a single man and about 48 years younger. That could have been my dream. So you've never seen The Four before, Emily?
Well, I was alarmed when I said to you, where are we sitting? And it appeared we weren't sitting anywhere, because apparently everyone stands. And I haven't stood since, I think, the Nativity play or something. That was the last time I actually stood for a long period of time. So I was a bit nervous.
It was Nativity play-like in lots of ways, I thought.
But you know what I was most surprised by? He actually is not that bad looking, Marquis Smith. I thought he'd be like in a straitjacket and pants or something. But he had like a nice sort of black shirt on and a leather jacket he kept taking off.
Yeah.
And he didn't sing so much as he kept wandering around the back of the stage like someone browsing in curries or something with the equipment. He didn't actually stand at the front of the stage for very long.
No, he prowls, and he does that to make the band nervous, I think, because he goes behind them and he changes all the knobs on their speakers, and you can see him looking coyly over their shoulder thinking, oh, what's he doing? But they're frightened to do anything about it.
Gareth and I saw him pulling a plug at one point.
Pull a plug.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes he goes to the back and he has like stuff, he reads stuff off a table. It looks like he's washing up. There's an instrumental break. I better do those cups and saucers from earlier.
It is like a nativity play in that they kind of put a 4-year-old on stage and just said, right, you're in charge of the band, and then he just goes and grabs the baby Jesus and smashes it on the floor.
But you would agree, wouldn't you? Let's not be a nice trailer. You would agree that the actual sounds that came out were monumental.
Yeah, the band's really good.
And Emily and Daisy, who's our assistant producer, both went and bought fall T-shirts, big white fall T-shirts, and then put their belts on over them.
We styled them up.
It looked like the Four were working with Pepsi and Shirley. It's all very sad, but a tremendous time was had.
We loved it.
By all. Richard Herring will be with us. Don't mention the book thing.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, with Gareth, and now with Richard Herring.
Wow.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
I hate interviews that say, how are you?
Yeah.
I think you should get that out of the way. People aren't interested in that kind of thing. What are you, a doctor? Like, you're going to know how you are.
I was trying to talk to Richard earlier, and you were standing outside wearing a badger's mask, and it was very disconcerting.
I just went to the toilet in a badger's mask, and I've discovered that when badgers urinate, they have to hold their head slightly to the left, or they can't see the toilet. Anyway, Richard, what are you up to?
I'm at the moment, my book's just come out, so I'm promoting that, and all sorts of things working. There's a lot coming up, actually. I'm doing another series of my internet stand-up and sketch show, As It Occurs to Me, starts in a week, which goes out for free on iTunes and the internet. And Edinburgh, I'm doing Christ on a Bike in Edinburgh again, so I'm working that up again, which was a 2001 show, which I'm going to rewrite, but pretty much do that one again because it never got on DVD.
It's not much has changed, has it? As far as the life of Jesus is concerned.
Not much more new news in on him.
Were you hoping something big would have happened?
I was hoping he'd come back, and he could come and join me at the end for a song.
You're bringing it back for the papal visit, you think?
Well, I did Hitler show last year and Jesus show this year, so my target demographic is Pope Benedict. That's who I'm really going for.
I'm just going to let that float. We had Henning Wehn in last week, the German comedian, and he said people in this country are obsessed with World War II.
Yeah.
Now, this week we got Richard Herring in, who just did a show about Hitler. And as I drove in today, we were preparing London for the VE celebration. So he's got a point.
It was the last good thing we did. That
and you're nominated for a Sony.
I am, unbelievably, for this internet show, which is just...
I think you meant this show now. We haven't done it yet.
I'm being so good, someone's just called it.
Really? That's brilliant. Sony, they're quick off the mark. This interview's going rather well. Nomination.
Yeah, for, As It Occurs to Me, which is the show I kind of got fed up with waiting for radio to decide whether they would give me a show or not, and then also thought, the way things have become so restricted due to especially the BBC. I think they're so scared. So I just wanted to be able to just do a show.
Don't go all Frankie Boyle on us now.
Well, but it's good to do a show where you have complete. It's kind of fun to I do a Six Music show as well, and it's fun to have the restrictions because it means you could.
I don't think you can plug other radio
I suppose it starts in 50 minutes.
It's all right. It's all right if the funeral music has already begun for that station. It's all right.
So it's fun to have the restrictions away, but it's also nice to just be growing up and just do a show that people have to choose to download it. as it occurs to me. So you can't really complain if you're offended by it. Just stop. It's free.
Well,
and,
I like the fact that that's it. You've made it yourself.
Yeah.
You've decided it's going to happen, and it's happened. You didn't have to need anyone to give you permission.
No, it's really, really nice. And, you know, so getting the Sony nominations are really... I mean, I've never really been nominated for anything I've ever done in my life, apart from On the Hour, which was the first thing I wrote for. That got loads of awards, but since then, nothing I've ever done has been even nominated. I've done like 30 Edinburgh shows, no nominations.
I've been very low on the awards front.
I'll stop moaning, you
got
two.
the Perrier Award.
Yeah, but that was 1991. For goodness sake.
You get your Lifetime Achievement Award soon, Frank.
I just got Loaded Legend this year. So that's the first step to Lifetime Achievement, I think. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about you, this interview. So, what category are you in the Sony?
It's Best Internet Show.
Okay.
So it's kind of a bit of a broad church, so I'm up against a documentary about Hillsborough and various other things, so it's kind of... I can't see how they'll choose between these different things. But,
And are you actually going to go to It's Monday night,
I'm going. I wasn't going because I was meant to be doing a book reading, but it got rearranged, so I am able to go, But,
we're going too.
Oh, well, we'll see you there.
You know it lasts about 11 and a half hours, the Sony
and it
Awards
costs
ceremony.
loads of money. That's the thing, if I am, because I'm on my... Because I haven't got a broadcaster behind me. It costs like £200 each to go... And attend it,
Does it?
Which Absolute will be paying for you to go, I presume, but I've got to pay £200 to go. That doesn't even include drink. They're they're just coining it in.
Does it include the award? If I was going to pay 200 quid, I want a brackets includes award.
There's 4 or 5 of us involved going along in this, so we're giving... I mean, you have to... Anyway, that's enough of that.
I like the fact you've paid to get to the... If
I don't win, I'm going to be very...
If you'd have said we could have got you a chair on our table...
Do we have to turn up with cash in my clutch bag? I might not have it on me.
No, we won't. We won't have to pay that.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Well, you like The Fall, don't you, Richard?
Oh, not as much as Stuart Lee. Stuart Lee likes them.
Humour him.
I saw Stuart Lee last night at the Fall gig, so it's been a strange Lee and Herring 24 hours.
A little reunion.
Yeah, he wasn't that friendly, actually.
Wasn't he?
Is he not as friendly as he used to be?
He just varies. He's a very unpredictable man.
You thought it was because I was wearing a Fall T-shirt and he was a bit... And maybe purists object to that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just... I don't know. I felt strangely rejected.
Did you?
Do your big go.
So you've got a book out.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called How Not to Grow Up. It's basically about the year I turned 40, but it's about that sudden realisation. I think it happens to people at different times, not just at 40, but that point where I kind of suddenly realised I was nearly 40 and I'm still like acting like a 19-year-old and going. I think with our job as comedians, you're able to kind of carry on that lifestyle a bit longer. But I looked at my dad at 40 and myself at 40, and he'd been married for 17 years and had 3 kids and a proper job, and I kind of got to 40 and thought, what have I achieved? And I was single, and it was. I mean, I did a show about it in Edinburgh. Let's call it "Oh Dear, I'm 40" for the purposes of Absolute Radio, and I think I just realised that I'd sort of everything had gone a bit crazy. I got in a fight with a university lecturer in Liverpool, and was sort of going out and trying, getting.
Was it drunk. A fight about Nietzsche?
It wasn't. It was. Funny enough, he tried to kick. He got very drunk and tried to kick this young lady I was with in the head. So it kind of was. There was a reason behind it, but then
I think you're the good guy.
Yeah, I think I was. But it ended up just this stupid. I can't. I've never had a fight with anyone. Well, I've discussed in the book the 5 fights I'd had before this, which were all basically defeats where I got beaten in, and by one of them by Stuart Lee. And
you could have sold tickets for that. What a waste of money! You could have celebrity boxing,
which was still a bit of a pathetic pushing around. But this fight was just sort of slapping around. But I did get one good crack into this guy's head at the university lecture, and it made me happier than anything I've never done. If you've ever punched anyone, Frank,
yes,
it was amazing.
I don't like the thing that feels good about it.
No,
I think it's very addictive.
It is weird.
The nice feeling of hurting somebody.
Yeah. Well, I woke up the next day, even though it had been this kind of really weird thing, and I felt invigorated and alive, and I kind of thought, I don't like the way.
It's like the end of Straw Dogs. Have you ever seen Dustin Hoffman? He's just killed about 6 local villagers who tried to attack his house, and he's like a maths teacher, and when he drives away, there's this warm smile on his face of this is what life is all about.
Yeah. So, I realised I was going through. This wasn't like me, and I was behaving in an erratic and hormonal way, I guess, and an odd way. And
was it a midlife crisis?
It was a little bit. I mean, I think it was. It was, and I was sort of trying to recapture money. I was hanging around with a lot of younger people, because again, with our job, you're in clubs and you meet younger people, and a lot of comedians are a lot younger than us. So I was kind of going out, and I'd never really been into music or fashion, and I was doing all that kind of.
Oh, you're doing. Oh,
yeah.
No,
so it was
when I was 30. Yeah, all my mates got 30 together, and one of them started doing sit-ups.
Right.
And one bought pixie boots. Do you remember pixie boots?
Yeah.
He bought some of them, and it's a
not
terrible thing. Isn't it?
Yeah. So I just thought it was an interesting year, and as it turned out, and then met my girlfriend halfway through, and everything sort of changed around a little bit. So but I just thought there was an interesting year to talk about. But I think also there is this sort of trend now where people are staying younger a lot longer, and people in their 40s and 50s are allowed to still walk around in t-shirts and trainers and go to gigs, and and I just think our parents, it's just things have changed so much. I was kind of fascinated by that and working out what's good about being immature and what's bad about being immature, or whether we need to grow up. Or
well, all my mates from my class at school all look about 70.
Yeah.
Apart from me, and all wear beige slacks.
Yeah, but I mean, so you do go back. It's whether it's a good thing to whether people conform because they think they have to or should do, or whether you get married or get a proper job because you think you have to. So but then also the other side of that is that I never got married or got a proper job, so it's not like me having a midlife crisis and then leaving my family.
No,
behind.
you didn't have to.
It's just kind of realising I haven't even got. I'd worked so hard I didn't even have the family to.
Never mind the people carrier. Where's your people carrier?
Yeah, so
there's no people.
just on my own.
That's the trouble with the people carrier thing. Well, it sounds absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit sad.
I mean, it's a mix. I mean, I think it was a kind of sad time, but then in a way, it's easy to be funny about that. So you're picking out all the ridiculous things you did, and hopefully, I'm kind of self-aware enough to know where I'm being a bit self-pitying and finding the funny thing in each story. So I think it is very funny. I think living through it was quite difficult, but going back over
it sounds like you've emerged.
I think so. Yeah,
oh,
I think so.
News.
Absolute Radio.
Richard Herring is with us in the studio. So, Richard, if you've revived an old popular show for Edinburgh, and your book is out at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, you're always a man with a project, so yes. I sense there must be something hatching that's going to...
I don't know. Actually, I've got so much going on. I mean, the writing the...
Is it the new girlfriend thing? When you get the new girlfriend, the people stop working.
I've
excited.
I've worked much harder, I think, in the last 2 or 3 years. I think that the book's partly about that revitalisation and kind of realising how lucky you are. You can spend your time kind of comparing yourself to other people and getting bitter about stuff. But then actually, I just think I realised how lucky I was doing the job I'm doing and making a really good living out of it. And
we should do that because we just get bitter.
Yeah.
That's the trouble.
When you say we...
Okay, I do.
But it's a great job, isn't it? And to actually to be keeping going into our 40s and 50s is a kind of is a quite an achievement because a lot of people
to be alive is brilliant.
It is. So I actually I've been working. I've just toured Hitler's Dash. I've got a book coming out. I'm doing an internet sketch show and an Edinburgh show, and I'm doing loads of I do the podcast with Andrew as well, the Collins and Herring podcast.
I tell you what, I think you talk faster than you used to talk.
Do you? I've got so much to say.
Or you feel that the grave is getting ever nearer, and you're not confident you'll be able to get it all in. That's what it feels.
It could be. I think it's partly because when I do my Edinburgh shows, I'm always trying to get an hour and a half into an hour because my shows are always much too long.
Just cut a bit. That's all you need to do. No, you just for a second there, it reminds me when the news is coming up and I start talking faster. I like it. Some people come in here and just look at me. I don't like that.
So there's loads going on, Fran. I'm doing too much. I might be doing it. I've got maybe a possible Radio 4 thing I'm going to do, but I haven't got. I want to write more plays and I want to write some more TV drama and stuff. But I got a bit frustrated with how difficult it was to get everything on, and get through all those.
You write
processes.
internet plays.
Well, I mean, I sort of think so. It'd be nice to. If the stand-up and sketch stuff on the internet starts working really well, I think it could lead to the point where you can start doing your own film stuff on the internet as well, and that's kind of my ultimate goal. But again, I think I'm just a little bit too old. By the time that's easy to do, I'll just be dropping off my perch.
Well, I don't know about that. Do people do? I don't know. I'm not as internet literate as maybe I could be. But do people do like drama, radio drama type? Because you could do that quite easily.
You could. I mean, I'm sort of the only person who's really, I think, doing a proper. I mean, people do these like what would be a radio show, people chatting without the music, basically. But I think mine's possibly the first thing where I've gone in and done an audience and done stand-up in a sketch show that's especially written. And yeah, you could easily do, it's so easy to do audio on the internet, and it's just, as long as you've got a computer that you can put a microphone into, you can record anything. I guess just making it sound really good enough to be on the radio is a slightly different matter, but not that difficult. So people could do it, but I think most people are worried about the monetary aspect, but I think now it's sort of working like music works on the internet, in that bands will give away their music for free on the internet, and then people will come and see them live. So that's definitely how it works for me. People getting all the podcasts for free, but then they'll either buy my book, hopefully, or buy, if we put out a CD or a DVD every now.
It's a
or come and see it
fabulous
live.
democracy thing going on.
So it kind of pays off, but I've never really cared about the money side. It's great that you do get paid for doing this most of the time, but for me, it's more important I'm more interested in creating the work, and so it's nice that the payoff is that you do usually get some money at the end of it.
Yeah, well, it's good not to get too keen on that, because that could stop any time when basically the streets are full of rioters, like in Greece.
Yeah.
We might have to do it for free.
Yeah.
But as long as we both agree, we'll carry on regardless.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that's the one. I don't know, you sound like a man who's reached some sort of joy.
I'm definitely a lot happier personally, and I think that was, as a comedian, you kind of fear that, because you think, if I'm happy, will I not be funny anymore? And there's an element with the book, you kind of think, all the stuff where everything's going wrong is really funny, and the stuff where I'm a bit happier definitely isn't as funny. But I think, in the last two years, I think I've done my best 2 live shows, certainly my most successful 2 live shows, and I'm just kind of content with where I'm at. And I think, it is a little bit about getting older and just thinking, actually, what's more important. And I think with comedy, I think the live stuff is the most important part of it, and I think it is easy to forget that. You get, you get onto TV and you get sucked into that, and actually going out and performing to 20 people or 100 people or 500 people or whatever you get is the real pleasure of it.
Well, that's a fabulous. Well, it's been lovely listening to you talk. And the book is called How Not to Grow Up, and that's out now.
Yeah.
And check out Richard's Sony nominated. I'm saying Sony nominated now. Next week I might be saying Sony winning.
Well, exactly.
And what is the podcast called?
It's called As It Occurs to Me, that one. And there's also the Collings and Herring podcast, which Collings and Herring. We changed our name. We swapped a G over in our names for some reason to make it more difficult to find. But so they're both on iTunes or the internet generally.
Brilliant. Well, it was good talking to you.
Great, and
Richard.
great to see you.
And enjoy your 6 Music radio show.
25 minutes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
We've had some texts in, Frank.
That's tremendous news.
We were talking about things we'd like to put in Room 101.
Yes.
And Mark has said the dramatic whisperer. He refers to it as the dramatic whisperer, which is the person who does, radio
Robert Redford.
voiceovers. Very good.
That bloke who does coming soon to a cinema near you. That one, the really deep
The most
one.
talked about film of the year.
Yeah.
Him. He doesn't like him.
Is it one bloke there, or someone doing impressions of a bloke that used to do that?
I heard it was Adrian Hyatt, but that's another story.
Well, I can believe that. He's gravelly.
Oh, he's gravelly, all right.
No, I know what you mean. Why? Does it mean that if there's a new film come out, say there's a new film called Bread Firer, right? Okay.
I just read it on a piece of paper. And
exactly. Don't do that again. Look at anything. Bread Firer coming, and somebody goes, "Oh, Bread Firer coming to a cinema." The people are going to think I'm not going to see that. Too high pitched in its fanfare. I don't think so. Any more?
Yeah, Tom working security says I would put France in Room 101.
France?
Yeah. He is working security.
I like that. I wonder do people put countries in? I don't see why not.
Well, he has. He has and he will.
I don't agree with him, but I thought if he's a security bloke, I thought he'd be more tempted to go for... But, we're all different.
We've got a text from 915.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, what's he in for? GBH.
He says, "Squirrels, you idiot."
Oh.
Squirrels.
Oh, no, I know what that is. I know what that is. We were talking earlier about where badgers... when you dressed up as a badger briefly to go to the toilet?
Yes.
We were talking about where they lived. Yeah, and we said a dray, and he's saying squirrels live in drays, but he's saying squirrel, you idiots.
Yeah, I did say, though, that I remembered that actually a badger lives in a set.
Yeah, you did.
I couldn't remember what lived in a dray, is all I'm saying. But
I thought
it's called us idiots.
I just thought it was a very aggressive, for Room 101.
Yeah, like it's...
Squirrels, you idiots!
Squirrels, obviously! They dwell in Room 101. Many are born there! That's what it seems to say. He must be nuts. As you see, the nuts theme is brought. It's not absolutely on the head, but it's brought in a sort of extra colour to the initial squirrel theme.
Your girlfriend would put them in Room 101. She was bitten by one.
She was bitten by a squirrel, and I must say she's never been quite the same since. She tends to hoard. quite a lot, and the hair on her back, it must be now 18 inches long.
She's always sitting there rubbing her little nails together, isn't she?
I don't get it.
Absolute Radio.
The beach far away in top. Now, my point is, you don't judge people's intelligence by whether they know where a squirrel lives. It's you need a whole broad range of criterion, surely.
Exactly.
That's just one specific bit of knowledge. And of course, at one level I did know, I'd just forgotten. Anyway, that was Martha and the Muffins, Echo Beach.
Yeah.
We had a lovely text from Dina. Gareth, I was very happy to see you too. This is the person we saw outside the Fall gig.
You said it was all touchy because she ignored you. No,
she was
you
lovely.
were touchy because you didn't say she was all touchy. Can I clear that up? On the contrary, you said she was as cold as ice.
I was very happy to see you too, Gareth. You were tall and also as beautiful as Emily. Wow.
Well, that shows you in a good light reading that out.
Well,
here.
God.
Again, you were tall, full stop, and the other bit written in biro. Gareth's handwriting.
I'd like to read out a very interesting text we got in during the week.
Reading out. It's like being in English class.
Yes, you should have paid more attention in that one. Dear Frank, Emily and Gareth, this is from Sarah. My name is Sarah, I'm 15 years old. I have a small question that I hope you can help me with. I have a school prom coming up in July, and a boy...
Do they happen, school prom? I thought that was just in American films.
No, they all
from
have
the
it now.
50s.
It's all about the prom, High School Musical, all that sort of stuff. They love
have
it.
proms at school.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had balls in our day. And a boy asked me to go with him. However, he's just told me that he isn't going with me anymore, and he's going with another girl. What can I do? Many thanks, Sarah.
That is. I think once you've asked someone, you can't change horses midstream.
How dare he? He sounds awful anyway. She's dodged a bullet there. I don't believe he's going with another girl. I think he's staying in. His mum's made him stay, and he's going to be listening to Narnia audio tapes. I don't think he is going to the prom. Don't you worry about that, Sarah. He won't. No, I don't think he's lying.
If I was Sarah, I'd go on my own
so
to
would
the
I.
prom, and when I walk in, I'd make sure the band went. That is a Go Girl. That's my version of Go Girl.
You go, girl.
No, that is... Let's not to be dismissive of this. That would hurt. Rejection always hurt. All I would say is that maybe on one level, Sarah, you were hoping that you and he would get together and be together forever. It would bloom into love and a lasting relationships. But let me tell you this. You don't really want to meet the man of your dreams till you're, I would say, a very minimum late 20s. Otherwise, you become one of these bitter people who marry their childhood sweetheart and then all think back about all the freedom that they might have had if only that big love had happened later in their life. So see it as a good thing. Go along, enjoy yourself. You know, you don't need a party. You're 15, let me tell you something. I'm 53. At 15, the world ahead of you is like a marvellous, colourful tapestry, and you can pull and tug at any little thread you like. Sarah, you are a blessed, lucky and lovely person. Forget this guy. He'll be just one of the little clouds that floats across your blue sky in life. Be happy, girl. That's what I think.
Yeah, he's probably gay.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. That's got us off air now. That's blown the Sony.
Absolute Radio.
By the way, we do a thing called Not the Weekend Podcast, which is a podcast that goes out on Wednesday mornings on the Absolute website, and it's completely separate from this show. We just sit in a room on our own. It's something quite exciting about it.
Oh, I love it.
It's almost as if there's... if you can imagine on the Titanic, some people had thought, well, we're never going to get on the lifeboat. Let's just go into a cabin, have a couple of drinks and just chat about, life. It's like that.
Yeah.
I think
exactly
you can hear
what it's like.
You can hear the water lapping at the porthole.
There's no string quartet, though, much to my chagrin.
No, this is after they've been told they can go, I think.
Oh.
So, and speaking of bon voyages...
Well, I'm off somewhere rather special.
Oh.
I'm going...
Pontins.
No. I'm going to Mauritius. So I'm not going to be doing the show next week.
That's going to be strange, you're not doing the show.
I know, I did have to... I was a bit worried about it.
I did a school project about Mauritius, I remember, at junior
You did a school project? Oh, did they fly you over there?
No, but there were some pictures that we looked at that was on the board. Yeah.
I've got my wardrobe planned out, Frank.
Okay.
I have to have a concept when I go on holiday. I can't just shove any old shorts in a suitcase or rucksack in your case.
What's your concept?
Nautical...
Wild West.
No. Nautical for beachwear. Nautical bikini.
Nautical bikini. What's that with a
blue and white striped bikini?
With a periscope, the briefs.
A cap and bird's eye hat. No, so that's my swimwear, and then a sort of 70s flake girl for my day wear.
70s flake girl, as in the flake advert.
Yeah, so like a long maxi dress.
Not somebody with psoriasis. Okay.
No, so I'm looking forward to it.
It sounds great, and apparently it's very, very Moorish.
Oh.
It's very, very Moorish.
Well, you miss me, you guys.
Anyway, so Laura Solon will be.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be the two of us.
No, that would have. Oh God, that would have been. That would have been like the last hour of the Cincinnati Kid. I don't know if I would have liked that. Anyway, that's about it from the show this week. I can only apologise. And yes, goodbye to you. And it's the end.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.